gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? The show starts in 3, 2, 1, go.
Good morning, CaneSport. It's December the 13th, 2023. I'm Gary Ferman, the publisher of CaneSport.com, joined by our managing editor, Matt Shodell, as we discuss the news of the day, presented this morning by GameTime.co, your headquarters for all your ticket purchases, whether they be for holiday gifts, for your own personal enjoyment, sporting events, theater events, concerts, you name it. If you need tickets for an event, you got to go to GameTime.co or use the GameTime app. They will make it a seamless process for you. We'll talk a little bit more about GameTime in a little bit. But Matt Shodell, first, we must start today, of course, with the topic that is on everybody's minds, and that is Miami's pursuit of transfer quarterbacks. Recruiting right now, midweek recruiting, is pretty much at a standstill while Miami focuses on getting its quarterback. Kansas State's Will Howard, he visited yesterday, concluded a 24-hour visit yesterday. As he's walking out the door, Washington State's Cam Ward comes in. This is high-stakes poker. This is sweepstakes to the max. For those of you that love big money business deals and all the trappings that go with it, everything that Matt Shodell hates, this is your time. This is your moment. This is where the Miami Hurricanes 2024 season really is probably getting its shape. And Matt Shodell, wake up, man. It's a time to turn it on and give us your best perceptions of the events. Talk to us, my wise man.
That's a sad day for college football.
And why is that? Because schools are having to throw $1 million checks around to get a quarterback? Yeah,
because you're spending $1 million on Cam Ward plus. That's money from boosters that normally would go to infrastructure, to student athlete facilities, something that helps the whole team. This is a guy, remember, who's here for 1 year, and then he's gone. That's $1 million that, if you're in the playoffs, it's worth it, right? But there's so much money that boosters have to give now to programs every single year that, I don't know how sustainable it's going to be for a program like Miami. It needs to be brought under control in some manner. The free market's the free market. I get it. But it's an unequal playing field. And the have-nots, you may as well make their own division for the have-nots. Miami's a have. Okay, let's face it. Miami's a have, so it's great. But the programs that are not haves, the programs that don't have, that maybe aren't in major cities with major big money donors that still have been pretty good in the past, they may as well just form their own second division and make, a rule that you can't give more than $100,000 to anybody because.
Excuse me.
What?
Wisconsin just landed Tyler Van Dyke yesterday. Are you saying that he's a consolation prize to Cam Ward and Will Howard?
No, Tyler Van Dyke's gonna make six figures, and he made a lot of money last year at Miami. But
$700,000. He made from the collective.
Right. Do you think the $700,000 would have been better spent? Maybe breaking ground on the new facilities that seem to be getting held up for some bizarre reason. Who knows why? I mean,
In retrospect, yes, hindsight is always 20/20.
If you take the amount of money Miami's going to have to spend to be competitive over 20 years, how much do you think that's going to be? $400 million? You can get Shohei Ohtani to play for the Miami Hurricanes for the amount of money they're going to spend over the next 20 to 30 years on NIL money. It's an insane amount of money. And, someone was asking me the other day, like, where's Julio Frank? And it's a good point. Like, he needs to be, sort of helping out in this whole endeavor. He's disappeared. It really helps.
This is not his world, man.
No, but you know what? The medical aspect is, and that's where the money's coming from. They need that medical money.
The NIL money is coming from individual donors.
Right. But the medical, the money that the hospital, that University of Miami Hospital makes, some of that's being used to pay Mario and various things. Yeah. And Julio Frank needs to be able to raise money for football, not just, his expertise is medical. I get it. But he needs to be the face of the football program for donors. Donors don't just want to talk to Dan Radakovich and Mario Cristobal. They want to feel really special. And Julio Frank is nowhere to be found. I haven't seen him ever at a basketball game. Somebody was saying to me, we sit in this. This is my friends talking. We sit in the second row. We've never seen Julio Frank at all. Donna Shalala used to go. Et cetera, et cetera. I haven't seen him at any football games. He has no interest in sports. So I would like to see him get more involved. I would like to see him helping in the fundraising because Dan Radakovich can only do so much, and Mario Cristobal's buddies who are billionaires can only do so much. At the end of the day, for this to be successful at the Miami Hurricanes long term, it has to be fan funded. It has to be every single fan that's a Miami Hurricanes fan in the world, not just the country, in the world, has to be involved. And to do that, you need Julio Frank. You need everybody in the administration from the top down to be getting the word out. Like, have you seen Canes Connection ads anywhere? Have you seen Miami even sending emails to the media like, hey, please send out Canes Connection to anybody? Like the advertising for Canes Connection doesn't even exist. Doesn't even exist.
But they need so much money, quite honestly.
They need so much money. So you need to do
advertising for $200 donations does not even.
Oh, you're wrong. You're wrong. That's flat out
not
wrong.
Enough people that are going to do it to move the needle. The people
every single year, every single fan has to give a certain amount of money, just like I do for my alma mater. Just like
to move
just
the
like
needle.
You don't do for your alma mater.
I mean, think about it. 10,000 fans times $200 a piece.
10,000 fans. I'm talking about graduates.
And no, but I'm saying, let's say you get Miami
10,000. Miami has 10,000 fans in your opinion. I don't know what you're talking about.
Let's say you get 10,000 people to put up $200 a piece. What's that?
Miami has 500,000 fans.
10,000 people, $200 a piece. That's $2 million.
We're not talking about CaneSport subscribers.
It's not funding NIL, Matt Shodell. I don't know what dream world you're living in. Okay, everybody.
If there's a 500,000 Miami Hurricanes,
they can't even get to 10,000. Okay, I'm just throwing that number
because they don't try. If you have a 500,000 fans, which they easily do, and they each gave $100 a year, you've just funded NIL forever. It's not that much money, but they don't get the word out. They don't promote it.
Billionaires writing checks for $1 million is what we're talking about.
Forever. Have to do it forever. The billionaires have to do it forever.
Or billionaires writing checks for a couple $1 million.
Yeah, forever. Just giving their money away. They're going to keep doing it forever.
They're just giving their money away.
I want a ground effort. Like, you don't understand how this works. You need to have a grassroots effort that lasts forever. Not just 1, 2, 3, 4 guys that you're relying on forever.
Wrong.
You're wrong. You're wrong.
No, absolutely wrong. You're talking too much money. I mean, grassroots efforts are great, but right now there's 3 schools that are basically working with open checkbooks: Texas, Oregon, and Notre Dame. This is what my sources are telling me that no. Okay, those 3 schools are out there operating with.
Again, you keep looking at short term. Like, I'm not talking about this year, Gary. I'm not talking about next year. I'm talking about I'm talking about 50 years from now, because college football is still going to be around.
Getting all these people to write checks every year. You need big money people who are willing to. They're giving their money away. You were right about something. They are giving their money away.
Do you know what? Like the Harvard, the amount of money Harvard gets from its graduates, right? Just for the school, is billions of dollars.
Correct.
Billions. And
you don't need billions for NIL.
We just need 3 or 4 guys forever. We're fine. Like, I don't even know what you're talking about. They need every fan. NIL requires every fan. It's why there's a collective, but they don't even broadcast it to anybody.
Who has time?
I've been right. Listen to me. I've been right about everything about NIL. Everything I said right when it started, I predicted exactly where we are now. I predicted all the top players going in the portal every year or reaching out backdoor, holding hostage programs to give them more money. I predicted all of it. I'm telling you right now, I'm predicting right now, and you'll tell me in 10 years I was right. Grassroots efforts are the key to NIL, not individual donors that are given $1 billion, that are billionaires, they're given $1 million.
Trying to sit there and service $10,200 donations. Come on, man.
Schools are very schools. There's legislation right now that if you want to be a top tier school in the NCAA, you have to commit to giving $1 million a year to student athletes. $1 million a year, okay? And that's the school itself paying its student athletes, and that's men's sports and women's sports, and you're allowed to go over it. That's the next thing that's going to be approved by NCAA, to let schools directly pay. And if you just think that NIL is the only answer and 3 or 4 people who are billionaires are the only answer, Like, I don't even understand what to tell you. They need more than that long term, period.
You need 12 to 15 million right now. I don't know what the system's going to be 5 years from now. I'm talking about today's system. You need 12 to 15 million dollars. And if you're trying to raise it with donations from fans at a couple $100 a piece, all they have to be serviced. You got to provide them benefits for their donations.
I'm going to tell you a true story.
That only gives you, if you get 10,000 fans to contribute $200, that's only $2 million. You still got to raise another $10 million. This is a money person's world.
Here's a true story for you.
This is Phil Knight at Oregon. Okay?
Here's a true story for you. Okay, I know a lot of boosters. They are redirecting money that normally would have gone to the school to NIL because Miami needs NIL money. They need NIL money. They can't have both. You can't have a school not have any money because it's all going to NIL and it's out the window a year, 2 years, 3 years from then. Well, you need both. And if you just think these guys, the money that normally would go to the school now all of a sudden goes to NIL, and we'll just worry about the money that normally goes to the school. They're wrong. They're wrong. They need way more than that.
They have to
way more than that.
That's the university's burden in all this. The university has to backfill the money and find ways to pay for those buildings on campus and things like that.
Miami's athletic department isn't even making a lot of money.
No. It's not.
So, like, what are you talking about?
There's
no money at the university. They're still relying on. They're not making money for the university through athletics. So it's still boosters that have to pay the school $1 million a year plus, and the NIL millions and millions of dollars every year. Like, you just think these magically appear.
They said we're willing to do it. Why are you so worried about it? If the system is in place, okay, the boosters. And the big money people are funding NIL.
You know what will tell the tale is years from now when we see where Miami is. Because I know if I was a billionaire,
Mario's going to have.
I know if I was a billionaire and if I had all the money in the world and I loved the University of Miami, I would give some money every year. But eventually, that money is just being given away. There's no return on investment for it. And if these people are businessmen and they have families and they have other things and obligations or whatever, if the economy goes south. Like, you can't just rely on one person, 2 people, 3 people, 4 people, a handful of people. You need more than that. You need a grassroots effort. And God forbid they do that, Gary. I don't know why you're so against it. You think they won't make any money through that. It's bizarre.
Effort at Miami is a spit in the bucket. And it has to be administrated. Okay? And that takes a lot of work to administrate all those donations and run those credit cards and give those people and give those donors benefits.
So everybody who runs credit cards should be out of business.
That's called the Hurricane Club. That's called the Hurricane Club. Okay, and they got a staff for that on campus. NIL is a different world. It's a big money world. It's big money boosters who are willing to give money away. They're getting nothing for their money, but the joy of hopefully their team winning. And Miami has not been winning thus far. So if you want to make the argument that this is not going to continue forever if the system doesn't change, and if Miami doesn't win, that these wealthy people, God bless them, who are funding the program right now, may not want to do it forever, then we got something to even talk about here, okay? But you're like detached from reality. Here's reality. Big money people are putting up the money at every school. At Oregon, it's Phil Knight. Yeah. At Texas, it's the oil.
I'm not saying they're not.
At Texas, it's oil money. I have no idea who puts up the money at Notre Dame, but I'm told those are the 3 schools right now operating on open budgets.
Again, you keep saying Why do you keep saying right now?
Let me tell the people what's going on. Miami is in the next tier. Okay, Miami started out up here with John Ruiz. Okay, John Ruiz ran into some issues. He couldn't continue to fund it himself. By then, the collective was ready to rock. Good thing. But let me tell you something. John Ruiz saved Miami, okay? Because in year 1, when everything wasn't organized, he was. And that NIL program that he put together year 1 saved the athletic department. Well, now the collective is up and running. The big money people are donating to the collective. Like Matt, occasionally he does astutely point something out, that some people are donating money to the NIL budget that would normally donate to the building fund or things like that. But it is happening. Miami is in the tier. They have enough money to do what they need to do for football. They can go get a quarterback. They'll be able to get another few pieces. They can do NIL deals with every player on the team. The Canes collective is in a good place. Okay, it's not number 1 anymore like it was year 1. It's probably in the top 10. Okay, they're in a good place. Okay, everything can always be better, but Miami has the proper funding to operate what it needs to operate on the NIL side of the equation. Now, on the other side, what's having to happen is the university, which would normally be taking these donations for things like building the new football facility, is having to backfill some of that money, obviously, and that's where the profits, which are reported to be somewhere in the neighborhood of $250 million a year at U Health Hospital, that's where that money is coming from, most likely. Okay, and you're not talking about an enormous amount of money. You're talking 10 million a year probably, but the university has made the commitment to fund athletics. So, there's no reason to worry about the money. Okay, they've got a budget, they've got a plan. Now, how does this relate to recruiting a quarterback right now? Everybody's recruiting these quarterbacks. And there is the possibility that when push comes to shove here this week, and I do expect it to start hitting the fan this week, that these things turn into bidding wars. And I don't know if Miami plays that game or not. Like, I think Miami's prepared to pay what the market value is. I don't know if they're prepared to get into a bidding war with, say, Texas for one player. So it's going to be interesting to watch this. Right now, they've got these two quarterbacks that are the focal point. I'm seeing a commitment to iron down the quarterback recruiting before they move on to finding a receiver, finding a couple safeties, those kind of things. They want to get this quarterback thing done first. They are taking their shot with these two kids. If it doesn't work out with these two, then they're going to have to evaluate and move on to some others that are out there. But these are the two that are universally really accepted as the top two available. Miami's in the mix for both of them. Congratulations, Mario. Congratulations to your staff for getting these kids to come in for visits. That's a great accomplishment considering their stature on the transfer portal market. And we are trying to monitor this thing to the best that we can, Matt, so that we can bring everybody the cutting edge news on what's happening. And that brings us to today, where Cam Ward is on day 2, I guess, of a 24-hour visit. He is the top catch, okay? Cam Ward, if you just go on YouTube, watch his highlights, this kid can do it all. Matt, you're telling me yesterday he's a 3rd-round draft pick in the NFL. He's not a prototypical NFL quarterback. That's probably why. Otherwise, he looks, very much like he's got like a Lamar Jackson type skill set. He's good at running the ball. He can move around. He can deliver the ball in different ways. I've seen him shot put passes. This kid has a lot of athletic ability. And Matt, you've done some looking into him. He was not highly recruited coming out of high school. Give us a little insight as to why.
And you'll find even 2nd round. Some people even say had said 1st round at some point. Why he wasn't highly recruited? Because in high school he was in a wing T offense, didn't have much film, and his mechanics were pretty bad. He didn't really start playing until his junior year of high school. And then he went to Incarnate Word, where they ran an air raid, and obviously he was outstanding. He was somebody told me he was graduated high school top of his class. Somebody said he was number 2 in his class. But regardless, I mean, he's a very, very bright young man. Has an arm where he could throw anything. And one of the people I talked to said, when he was at practice back in high school, he would get bored and start throwing sidearm and submarine and doing all sorts of crazy angled throws. And his personal quarterbacks coach actually started encouraging that, and now you sort of see with Patrick Mahomes type stuff, those different arm angles to get the ball out quick in different situations really is not a bad thing. And he's a very exciting quarterback. He's the only quarterback that I want at Miami, because, plan B is Tyler Van Dyke with a little more speed. And I don't need another turnover prone guy who, isn't consistent. He's sort of worn out his welcome. And I'm talking about Will Howard. He sort of wore out his welcome there. They're actually happy he left because they want their younger guy to be playing. They were done with Will Howard. Those fans were done with Will Howard. They'll tell you that. Like, you talk to a fan at Kansas State, and they're like, yeah, we don't care that he left. It's sort of like Miami fans with Tyler Van Dyke. Like, Wisconsin fans are very happy that Tyler's at Wisconsin. They think he's great. You ask a Miami fan, they're like, we're glad
you got a son that goes to Wisconsin. How's he feel about this whole thing?
Well, he loves Miami, And I sent
fired up about Tyler going over there.
Yeah, he's very happy. I sent Tyler a text yesterday. Here's what I told Tyler. I said, hey Tyler, F you. No. I said, hey Tyler, congrats on Wisconsin. My son actually goes there and is very excited you're going to be playing there. I've been up there many times and it's an awesome place. Rooting for you, and don't eat too many cheese curds. Matt at CaneSport. And Tyler and I are such good friends that he never responded. I think he's had it with the Miami media. I always liked Tyler. We always got along, but
he's a good guy.
But I did text him right when the news broke about Wisconsin, so I'm sure he had a billion texts, and I'm just going to be sitting by my phone all morning now, just waiting for his response. I'm sure it's coming very quickly.
Well, we're happy for Tyler. And
by the way, my son wants Xavier Restrepo to go there now. He says, because they're best friends.
I don't know that Xavier's going to do that.
The only reason he won't do that is because his family goes to if you go to
everything,
his mother is at every practice. Like she's there are some parents that go, but she's at everything. Like
every practice. And
I don't think she would let him go.
He just had a great year, and if they get Cam Ward, Xavier Restrepo's in a good place. He's fine. He just has to keep. He's going to have more competition because there's going to be receivers that want to play with Cam Ward, but if he's good enough, he'll be fine. So if he's not good enough, it doesn't matter. If you can't play in college, you're not going to play in the pros probably. But anyway, so I think you and I agree. And we'll talk, talking about Cam Ward, who is on campus right now, finishing a visit today to Miami, that if Miami can get him to commit before he leaves town, it's a grand slam home run. Yeah. If he leaves town, it's open season. Everyone's taking their shots. But if they can get him to commit today while he's here, and then his agents and stuff can go deal with the NIL, which is going to be there no matter where he goes, it's a grand slam for Miami. Would you agree?
It's Cam Ward or bust. Cam Ward will probably be the best quarterback to play at Miami since Ken Dorsey. I mean, I honestly, I'm not kidding. Like, that's not me joking. I mean, he's actually more talented than Ken Dorsey. Ken Dorsey was just a fantastic leader because you remember Ken Dorsey was a late round draft pick, and Cam Ward I think would physically be the most talented quarterback to play at Miami. In terms of all his ability. This is a guy who is still the all-time leading scorer at his high school in basketball. He was the point guard, and that's because of his vision. He would see things before they would happen on the basketball court, and it's like the same. He does the same thing in football. This is a guy you just listen. As much as I said, and I was talking long term about obviously NIL money. You kept talking about this year and Notre Dame and whatever. Like, I don't care about that. I'm talking about, I want Miami to be competitive for 10, 20, 30, 40, 100 years.
Care about it. I'm educated. I'm filling the people in on what's going on.
So we were talking about two different things, but this is a guy where you call up whoever it is, and you say, listen, I know you spent $500,000 last year on Tyler Van Dyke and you weren't happy with us, but if you just give me $5 million right now, you'll be happy. We'll make the playoffs. Because with Cam Ward, they're making the playoffs. If he stays healthy, they're making the playoffs. Like, I have no doubt. I'll move my timeline up from 2 years to next year. Next year I had him at 10 wins. The following year playoff, I will move them up to the playoffs next year. That's how good this guy is.
Cam Ward takes them from 7 to 11, huh?
Yeah, that's how good this guy is. Well, they got 16 teams. So yeah, they can win 11 games.
The playoffs is 12 teams, man.
Sorry, 12 teams. The with the schedule they have next year, like, there's nobody that good on that schedule. As long as they beat Florida in the first game, they'll get to 11 wins next year with Cam Ward. But you need that kind of consistent playmaker. I mean, this is a guy you got to have a spy on him. He's also accurate. He throws great downfield passes, great arm. Like, there's nothing he doesn't do really well. It's just a grand slam. Like, you got to get him, and that's why you don't really want to have to go to the next guy on your list. This is the guy you got to get. Period. Like, that's it. If quarterback U is still quarterback U, Cam Ward will be a Miami Hurricane by the end of the week. Period.
The good news is I sense that level of urgency in the Miami football program.
They know how good this guy is. This is it. Like, if they don't get him, it's just like, all right, we'll see what happens. But like,
right.
You don't know what's going to happen because you don't know what you're going to get otherwise. This, what you're getting.
You can't disagree with you. I wish I could, but I can't. So anyway, so we will be.
What do you want to disagree with me?
I like to disagree with you. You usually are talking a bunch of nonsense. That a lot of it, aimed at riling up your base legion of fans on YouTube that go nuts in the comments and stuff. But this time I actually agree with you. So it's a good thing. All right. So we will continue to cover this quarterback stuff as best we can. Stay tuned to CaneSport.com later today, and we will try to give you an update on what's going on. In the meantime, let me take a moment and talk about GameTime.co. And tickets make great holiday gifts too. We've been talking about Caneswear and all the Canes gear that you can get at their store and at caneswear.com. Well, today we're talking about GameTime.co, which is your headquarters for tickets, for last-minute deals, for the most seamless process in buying tickets to any sporting event, concert, theater event that you may want to go to. And you should, when you go to buy tickets, you shouldn't have to worry about anything. Whether you're getting a great deal, whether you could find something at the last minute. Game Time takes care of all of that. They are the fast and easy way to buy tickets for all sports, music, comedy, and theater events near you. And with last minute deals, all in pricing, views from your seat, and then their best price guarantee, Game Time takes all the guesswork out of buying tickets. So here's what you need to do. If you want to use the app, go to the App Store, download the Game Time app. Okay. You go to buy your tickets. Remember the code CANES, CANES, because you will get $20 off your first purchase by using that code. But you shop for your tickets. Like I said, you'll see the view from your seat. You're going to know exactly what to expect when you get to the stadium or the arena. And they're all in pricing, shows you the total up front. You don't have to sit there, get out your calculator, try to figure out what your fees are going to be, how much more money you're going to pay, why that $50 ticket turned into a $90 ticket. I know it's maddening. With GameTime.co and the Game Time app, you do not have to go through that misery. So go to GameTime.co or download that Game Time app, buy your tickets, use the code CANES, get $20 off, and have the greatest time of your life. Take your loved one, take your friend to a sporting event, a game for the holidays. You won't be sorry. It's a great way to spend time, and they will appreciate it as well. So GameTime.co, the Game Time app, your ticket headquarters for all your needs for all different types of events. All right. So let's talk a little bit about a couple other things that we have on the website today. It's all about recruiting. Big visitor weekend coming up this weekend. We preview one of those visitors this morning with a story on Christopher Columbus defensive line commit Dalen Russell. He's fired up, heading over to Coral Gables. See what he has to say. Miami's kicker Abram Murray, coming from Shreveport, Louisiana. He had to change his plans and won't be able to make it down for the visit this weekend, but we talked to him about how that has not changed his commitment whatsoever. Abram Murray totally locked into being the next kicker for the Hurricanes when Andres Borregales moves on. We also took a look at how your Canes did in the NFL, our weekly feature with stats and highlights. So make sure you check that out as well. And I don't think I'm leaving anything out, Matt. Am I? Let's see what else we had. Well, we had a story that went up actually yesterday on St. Thomas 3-star defensive back Ryan Mack. So you guys can check that one out as well as Miami's JUCO O-line commit Markel Bell. We catch up with him and get his outlook for his upcoming weekend visit. Markel Bell is going to be a beast on the offensive line from Miami. You just watch. He reminds me a lot of Bryant McKinney he's got this big frame, very much like Bryant McKinney. And if they can give him a year to develop strength-wise, I think he'll be a monster on the Miami offensive line. So Matt Shodell, as we continue on here, any parting thoughts?
About what?
About recruiting this week, the transfer portal, quarterbacks.
I mean, I went stone crabbing. We actually got a shark in one of the traps.
Come on. A shark was in the trap?
Yeah, a little Nerf shark. Yeah, maybe a little bigger than I can't put it on the screen. It's bigger than the screen.
Little baby?
Yeah, probably I a foot and a half long, maybe. I don't know. They get in there, man. We had a triggerfish. We had a couple of starfish. A lot of bycatch. Yeah, it was weird. We had an octopus, which usually you have no stone crabs. You know, octopus, other than human beings, octopus are the only natural predator of stone crabs. So it's very rare to find an octopus in a pot with stone crabs. That was the first time that's actually ever happened to me, and doing it for 18 years. So that was sort of cool. And what did we get anything else interesting there? No lobster. We had no lobster in there. Usually get some lobster in there, along with this, you know, in some of the pots if they're near rocks. But yeah, that was a nice day out in the water. Not too bad.
All right. Did you get, how many crabs did you come home with?
I took home 12.
12?
Just for my wife and myself. Yeah, they were pretty good. But you know, you have to. I shower. You know, I got stuff all over me, like stone crab. I don't know, whatever. I don't know what their excrement looks like, but that's what it looks like on my shirt and my bathing suit. So you know, I go shower, but I put the crabs in the pot of water to cook them while I'm in the shower, and you know, you have to time it for about 5 minutes from when it really starts.
And it took you so long to get clean, you overcooked the crab.
It started boiling so fast. I totally had to guess how much time to cook it, and you know, I think one of them was either overcooked or undercooked, but the other ones were fine. And I haven't died yet, so I may have had some stone crab sashimi, but I survived.
We're glad you're still with us. All right. So if you like this show, like our channel, and you're on YouTube right now, hit your subscribe and like buttons. It'll help us with the algorithms at YouTube. If you're not yet a CaneSport.com subscriber, your subscriptions allow us to do what we do every day. We would really love to have you come join us right now with the final week of recruiting. We got a special offer for you guys that are not yet subscribers. $1 for your first 2 months. Just use the code CANES1, CANES1, and you will get your first 2 months of CaneSport.com for $1. That's a pretty sweet deal there. And you can even, you know, if you wanted to, you can give that to somebody for the holidays, you know, as a stocking stuffer, or, you know, or even like a gift for a friend. We would like to continue uniting the Canes Nation under one roof. And like I said, your subscriptions allow us to do what we do every day to try to enhance your fan experience. But for now, thank you so much for joining us this morning for Good Morning CaneSport. For Matt Shodell, I'm Gary Ferman. We'll see you next time, everybody.